Welcome. This is the first episode of
Numero uno.
the Going All In podcasts, where each week we're going to bring you interviews of local business owners, and we're going to talk about controversial topics. We're going to talk about funny stories. Nothing's off limits because we're going all in. Let me give you the breakdown right now of who we got sitting at the table.
My name is Kevin, aka the Ace, and this is my boy right here.
What's up, you guys? I'm Mike, and I am the King, and we are here and ready to give you guys some really good content every day, or every week.
And I'm Nico. I'll be known as the Joker around here. And together we're Jack, because we don't know Jack.
We do not know Jack.
We're still trying to figure it out, you know?
Yeah, we're going to try to figure it out with you too. So here we go. Nico, let's start the show.
We're going to get some really cool music going for you guys the next time y'all see us. But here, we're all wearing hats. My boy Mikey said this is something that we had in common today. We all must have called each other. That didn't happen.
We got the memo, though.
Yeah.
We got the
Two
memo.
of us are wearing hats because probably our head looks better.
We're ready on the top of my bald head right here. I try to zoom it out, but they wouldn't let me. So, what's up?
And two of us here also clean shaven. And I'm talking about, for me, the carpet matches the drapes. Porn star quality, right, Mikey?
Yeah, gotta keep it real.
Yeah. Except Mikey had run out of time this morning. Mikey, why don't you stand up and show him your thighs?
I shaved like half. Got like halfway, and then it just kind of stopped.
Yeah,
Did
you run out of battery or the razor?
Well, no, I had a dentist appointment. This one's worse. So it's like none of that got done. But hey, you know what? We got to do it for the gram.
Yeah. So, Mikey, what are you doing over there? You working still or what?
I am, man.
Yeah.
I am working. But this is on hold.
Let me ask you this. Kevin, you ever shaved?
All the way?
Yeah.
I 100% have shaved all the way, except for my butthole, I think. But I've gotten down, and I've never used a straight razor, but I've used little balding clippers.
Okay.
Is that all right?
How long ago did you do that?
That's when I used to be like swole up.
Okay.
Now,
So when you were doing the mixed martial arts.
and when I was not a trainer, back when I was a
Okay.
trainer, I was
Okay.
kind of jacked up, and now I just keep it trimmed because I got like weird different patches of the hair, so not very much, and I've never hit a razor on me. I'm afraid of the bumps.
No, I'm not gonna make it, honey. My amazing wife, she's calling in while we're live on the podcast.
It's probably looking at you.
But I gotta make sure I answer just in case to make sure everything is good. But we're live right now, babe. Okay.
Hola.
She's just checking in with Daddy just to make sure,
Yeah.
see if I'm gonna go home for lunch.
See how well it goes over later. Here's the thing. I actually wish that I had started shaving much sooner than I did. I wish, when we were all teenagers together, I wish I had been shaving then.
Why is that?
Dude, it's just, one, I feel cleaner. I never walk into a restroom and there's pubes on the ground. I'm like, well, they're not mine. And honestly, makes your junk look bigger. You feel sexier,
No, it makes that happen.
So, I wish I had done it. I was a gorilla, dude.
Yeah.
I had just freaking hair like this coming out at 17. In fact, a lot of times, when we were going out, I could get into the bars, at 17, just because I had freaking massive hair coming out of my chest.
I would always pull his hair whenever it was visible. I shaved my stomach and my chest when I was a teenager so I can get some hair, and now I hate that I shaved. The full shaving right there. I get too many bumps on my legs. I can't do it. And then I feel like I think I have varicose veins, so if I shave my legs all the way down, then it's not a good look. My arms, I'm the same. My arms, chest, all that, right? I'd shave. I trim, and it's like a clean, but it's not all the way shaven because I can't do the bumps.
So we're gonna end up having this wrap it up button. I'm gonna wrap it up on the naked bodies that everyone's getting images of. So we go back to Nico and start this show for real. Y'all weirdos.
This is the way we start the show.
We talk about everything.
All right. My bad. Let's do it.
Just getting caught up on stuff from this morning. Man, look, my wife is out of town. I'm taking care of both children this morning, and I asked my son what he wants for breakfast. He won't tell me. I said, well, listen, man, you got to come in there and tell me because I'm going to make up your mind. You know, you can have eggs, you can have oatmeal, you can have toast, you can have a combination of those, you can have cereal. And I go off, I'm making his lunch. He's a third grader, so I'm probably spoiling, you know, but I'm making his lunch. He comes in there wide-eyed and goes, where's my food? I said, dude, I want to tell you something right now, buddy. I was like, I was making your uncle food when I was half your age.
Yeah. Grow up.
I was like, you're spoiled, man.
So why is he spoiled? How many kids you got, Nico?
I got 2, man. I got a daughter who's 13. I got a son who's 8. And I think I do maybe more for them because I grew up without a dad. So, you know, I kind of maybe go a little bit overboard.
For what now? Say that again.
Just taking care of the kids, you know.
I mean, I think it's awesome.
So, Mikey, how many kids you got? You got a family too.
I have 3. I have a 5-year-old, my 2 girls, 5, 4. Alexandra just turned 4, and then Miguel is 2. He's a huge baby right now. Big whiny baby right now. But I love it. He's
Where'd you get that from?
I mean, definitely got it from me. But he definitely got it from me. But because his mom, she's the badass. Like she's the strong one. Let's get stuff done. You know. But yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
All 3.
I got a question for you, Mikey. So you have been. What was your oldest kid? Is how old?
5.
5 years old. So. You've been working in this industry for 10 years, and you have a new company that we're going to talk about. So between that first year that you worked and the 5 years after that you had your children, what's changed from then? I'm curious about you becoming a dad. Nico, you too.
That's huge, man. Because in the beginning, when Yvette was born, I was working like crazy. I was working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. I would get home, I'd get to work, 8, 7 o'clock, get home 9, and it was just like, I get home and say hi to my wife, and she has the kids, eat dinner, and then I would just go sit down on the couch like a zombie, just not do anything and just sit there. And actually having conversations with Nico, man, early on, really helped out because in the beginning part, my transition as a dad, as a husband, because, me and Julie got married and then we had a kid. I put a lot of pressure on me, but I also felt like I wasn't doing enough, but I didn't even realize it. Right? I got married, and my mentality was still like, after work we're gonna go have drinks. Right? My wife's sitting at home waiting for me. She's like, "Where are you at? Why didn't you call me?" So that was a transition for me, which it took time. And then you throw a kid in there, a baby, and so now you're working tons of hours. You're out late. You're doing events on the weekends. So I wasn't there, present.
So to give everyone a preface, when you're out late throwing events, like what's going on? Why are you out so late? What was happening at that time that you were working so much? And let's transition to those hours and working with your family and your new business that you started.
Well, at that time, the company was already, that previous company I worked for was already in business for a good amount of time when I got there. But they only had, I think it's 2 employees.
What type of company was it?
is an event production company.
What do y'all do?
Entertainment and event production. We contract out DJs. We do lighting, staging, full production for fashion shows, weddings, birthday parties, basically any type of event, right? Private or public events. And the events are on the weekends, but during the week, I was prepping equipment, doing inventory, sales, meeting with clients, proposals, like all of that stuff. And you're just so busy at that time. I mean, it was only one other person and then the production people. So as I was, with the company and the company was growing, I'm training people, hiring new staff. And we went from 2 people to having full staff. We had a photo booth manager, vinyl department. We had office assistant, office manager. By the time, after 5 years, we had a full staff, a sales team. We had someone in charge of social media. So there was just a lot going on, and it was great, but my time was so much time into that, not enough time with my family. And then the difference now with my own business is that it's my family's first. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I understand that the business is what feeds my family, and I have to work to take care of my family. But I make sure and separate the time to be with them, like, without a doubt.
Let me pause you for a minute there. So, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to do an interview with a local business owner every week. And for this week, we wanted to choose Mikey. Even though he's on the show, we wanted to go ahead and let him plug and promote his business. Mikey, it may sound a little bit redundant, but tell us about Double Oaks.
So Double Oak Events is it's a entertainment and event production company, right? So we also do catering and bar. So we do live entertainment. We have DJs that are contracted DJs, but mostly do a lot of events with us. And then live entertainment, violinists, bands. The biggest thing is that now we offer catering. We have an executive chef. He came in. He used to be the executive chef off Benji's, which is over there off Washington in Midtown, and he was he's a farm to market chef, and we hope to implement that. A healthy type of menu, but also have other options for people that looking for something different. And then the entertainment side, and then the bar side, which is, we have a full catering and bar license, so we can do events everywhere.
But you also have a venue in case people do not have.
We do. So I actually have a small percentage in a venue. We just rebranded. The new name of it is called Fountain Point. It used to be called Mia Bella. So yeah, we're at that venue. We do, we can do a full event. The venue, the food, the bar, production, entertainment, sound, like all that stuff. But we don't have to be just there. We go to all different types of events. We do events everywhere.
Now, at that venue, is that where you've been doing some of the?
Yeah, our entertainment series is there.
Okay, so tell us about the entertainment series, because that's pretty interesting. I get the social media posts.
Yeah, we partnered. So we partnered with Fountain Point. So they, we get the venue from we do the event there. So getting the venue from Giovanna, who's the owner, venue manager, and then we basically hire. We do the entertainment series is just doing different types of events, right? So the first one was like a comedy thing, right?
Like stand-up comedy.
Stand-up comedy. They came in and it was awesome. It was really good. Then the second one was dueling pianos.
Okay.
Which was fun.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah, that one was fun. People had and these events, they're really geared towards one, I think people who just want to go try something different, right? And then two, it's people who are specific to that type of entertainment. You know, there's some people who really do love dueling pianos, so they'll go experience different dueling pianos at different.
Were people singing along with the?
Yeah,
okay.
All that, and
cool.
And there's different bars and stuff that will host them and stuff. So we're just trying to do something different for the venue and host different events like that. And then the third one that we just did was the
murder mystery.
The murder mystery. That one was a lot of fun to me. People were just really, really involved in it, and it was different. We're not sure what we're doing on the next one, but it's something we'll probably come up with something and do it and start posting about it in like the next month.
Now, just shameless plug real quick. How can they find out about these events coming up? What's the social media or what?
So our Instagram is at Double Oak Events. We'll post everything on there, but you can also catch us at Facebook. All our social media handles is at Double Oak Events. Facebook, Double Oak Events. So you can just catch us anywhere.
Kevin, can they reach out to us as the show in order to get information on some of the people that we interview or
yeah, so we'll be able to in the comment section right now. I already posted Mikey's event website. We're kind of streaming right here. I can share that link with you if you like. So I'll just go through and kind of go over what Mikey said. You know, he's got DJ services, audio, visual, streaming, live music, bar and catering. I mean, he's the next up and coming event. I mean, I've learned more and more about his company as he's talked about it as it's grown, and they're full service. I mean, they can do anything that you want, from weddings to parties to events. I've actually been to a wedding that he's thrown. I've actually been to my boy Joe Joplin, which hopefully we'll get him on here, who owns TV graphics, and he threw a party there for his 40th birthday, and it was off the chain, you know. And yeah, we'll be able to give all that information. I'll share the links in the comment section below. We'll also have the web link posted along with his social media as well. Next episode, when we get a little bit more in depth with Mikey, I'll have the social media and all that pulled up so we can see that as well. Go through some of his posts, see some of his events. I just want to jump in real quick. You know, I know we went into Mikey's life, and I want to get back to that. But Nico, why don't you tell us who we are and how we got together? You know, we call Mikey the King. He's obviously a leader, and that's why we call him the King. We've known Mikey since, 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ain't 15 anymore. So, I mean, I'm not going to put people's ages out there, but we're way past that. So, Nico, man, tell us how we know each other. Tell us our friendship. Yeah. Tell us why you're the Joker. Tell them why I'm the Ace. Let's get to know the whole group a little bit, too, and just kind of explain what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah. So just why we're doing this, one, we just thought it'd be great as friends to spend some time together at least once a week. And so if nothing else, we're going to get to spend that quality time that we've been missing out on last couple of years. Just life has jumped in and got in the way of us hanging out. So that's good, number one. But we also wanted to have a platform where we could allow some of the friends that we've grown up with or made since we were teenagers who have their own businesses, probably local to Houston, although that doesn't mean that we won't bring in some people from outside of the city. And maybe even we'll bring in some people that might be famous for something other than being a business owner. But we want to allow everybody to have kind of a spot to have an interview. Some of it will be formal, some of it will be funny. You know, like I've got I was just talking to Mikey this morning about a story that I posted on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And this is just some of the stuff you might hear from time to time. If we have somebody on that we know, we may talk about a story that happened to us a long time ago. In this particular story, me and Mikey and my brother, we were partying at this was in high school, and we're at a party, and somebody says, "Yeah, let's get out of here and go to this next party." And so we jump in my little white Mercury Tracer, and I remember thinking to myself, like, as we peel out and we're leaving this neighborhood, we're still going through it, and I was thinking, it'd be funny if I pull on this next left-hand turn, I pull out so wide that I go into these people's driveway, and then I just drive the rest of the block through the yards.
So this is a social media post. I want to know, like, when did you get involved in social media and how fucking funny are your videos that you're doing, man? Like, if we would have grown up filming you, man, we already would have been rock stars. So tell me why you got on social media and how funny it's been.
Yeah, because that's actually a good thing to bring up. Because Nico, you have not been on social media
till the pandemic
at all.
Yeah.
So how that happened?
Yeah. So I actually was working with a local church because I went through both my undergrad and then in business, and then went to get my graduate degree in seminary. And so I was wanting to be a church planting pastor somewhere out here in North Houston, where I essentially start up a church and maybe leave there and start up another one. And I think because of the age of my kids, that's something I'm gonna have to put on hold until later on in life, maybe after they're out of college, because just financially I still have to hold down a job. So in any case, the pastor at this local church I was working with, he was trying to train me up in order to know everything I would need to go start up churches. And he kept impressing upon me, you should be on social media. And I had always avoided it because I just wanted to avoid some of the people locating me that I didn't want to locate me. We have some pretty shady pasts. If you know us, you may know just a fraction.
Some of that we may or may not talk about, but it's been fun.
But in this particular instance, I decided to post some things. I'm not ashamed about my past. I wouldn't change anything because it alters where we're at now.
Yeah. And you'd say that you were a testimonial of someone that came from nothing and accomplished a lot in his life and changed. Found God, right?
Absolutely. Or he found me. Or actually, I just decided to listen.
Yeah. More than likely.
In any case, the story I posted yesterday that included Mikey. We're going from one party to the next. I'm taking this left-hand turn in the neighborhood. I decide go into the driveway of somebody's yard and then go all the way down the rest of the block in yards. And we're just laughing our asses off up and down with every little, bump in everybody's yard. Luckily we didn't hit a tree or anything like that, but I remember we're laughing our ass off and I'm just freaking thinking this is hysterical. We get all the way to the end of the block. We come off the curb and all of a sudden we're surrounded by just flashing light cop cars, like 8 of them. And these guys jump out and they got guns pointed on us. And they're to open the window. They got guns in our grills. And apparently, in the matter of us being detained, we found out that one of the houses we drove through was actually the site of a drug bust that they were doing that night. And we just totally messed everything up.
Yeah.
So they actually held us.
Snitches get stitches.
They held us long enough to give both Mikey and my brother curfew violations. Then they gave me a curfew violation for both of them, as well as myself. And then I got a couple of driving violations. I can't remember. They were like driving off the road. Any case, what I was telling...
it was like reckless driving or
something. In the post, what I mentioned was, fortunately, they didn't ask to open the trunk or search the car.
Yeah.
Because there was just a
plethora of felonies. Plethora of felonies in there.
Yeah. I mean, that would have changed the course of a lot of stuff in our lives.
Yeah.
So, some events did change the course of our lives.
That's what
sometimes the trunk did get open.
Yeah.
But so we've all known each other since we've been teenagers. In fact, actually, I know I can pinpoint the time that I met Mikey. I'm gonna need you to remind me. Like, I think it must have been through my brother Frank.
Yeah.
But with Mikey, this is funny too. We're in high school, and there's this. I had been hanging out with this guy named Roy, and somebody had been talking about our drug usage, and I didn't want this young lady spreading rumors about drug usage and me. I wasn't trying to look like some kind of, person that had a habit. And so in any case, I walk up to her and I say, hey, listen, you need to bring your boyfriend up here, because I knew she had a boyfriend that went to another high school. I was like, you need to bring him up here because I'm going to whoop his ass. You're talking about me, so you need to bring your boyfriend up here because I'm going to whoop his ass. And I think Mikey thought he was talking to the young lady at the time when I did this, and I think he thought I was talking to her. And to his credit, he defended her as a woman, thinking that I was approaching her with the fact, that I was going to beat her up. That was not something I would do. In any case, we start talking crap to one another. We're like face to face, about to throw down, and this big girl, Kieta, I remember, just throws herself in the middle of us, and she's like, "No, babies, don't fight." And by that time, the freaking principals had come over, and they're freaking grabbing us and taking us into the office, and we get in there, we finally talk about it. I say, "Listen, man, I wasn't talking about beating her up, I'm talking about beating her boyfriend up." And Mikey, I didn't know. And it's like, so we just kind of squashed it. I still wasn't really like high on the fact that we almost got into a fight, right? So that day I come home and my brother Frank has Mikey hanging out at the house. I'm like, "Frank, what the fuck, man?" And he's like, "Oh no, man, he's really cool. He's really cool." That night we went out. I won't say what happened, but we proved to each other like how crazy we could be. And we've just been rolling deep ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came and met Frankie first, and I think we kind of have this same weird story. So I grew up in Aldine and went to Aldine elementary and middle school. Didn't know any of you guys, and I got in so much trouble in 8th grade. They kindly asked me not to come back to the school, which basically said, "Don't come back." I got expelled my 8th grade year. It was a whole nightmare. So I went over to Klein for a fresh start. And when they say birds of a feather flock together, it did not take us long for us to come together and meet again, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And we all kind of ended up at Klein for kind of similar reasons,
Same
you
thing,
know?
yeah,
And we all have the same similar background with super religious parents, and it's just kind of cool that we've kept this relationship the whole time. And yeah, I met your brother, and like we first started talking at this party, and like we kind of beefed a little bit too, you know? And I think some of that kind of had to happen, you know, because we're kind of all alpha, you know, personalities, and there was a little test that we all had to beat through. Me and Mikey got into a test before too. He already knows what I'm talking about, but I had that paper, you know, I had that paper payback. So that's my story on how we met, man. We can talk about it forever, man, but I think it's important for you guys to know who we are and stuff. So Nico, I'll let you get back to it. I just wanted to jump in on that.
Well, man, I think what we're going to try to do is hold this to an hour.
We're at 30 minutes.
We're at 30 minutes right now.
Yeah.
So when we bring on somebody to interview, we want to just give them, one, the opportunity to talk about their business, shamelessly plug it. Everybody that's a friend of ours should be a friend of the show, and the friends, the friends of the show are going to be promoted here. So, but we also want to talk about, maybe some personal things, maybe get into some hot topics. So I was thinking about this one. One of the hot topics, that you have going on right now is just, guns. Should we own guns? What kind of guns should you own? Where's our limit? Should the government step in and take your guns? You hear all these things, you see all these posts. So, not a lot of people know this. I was witness to Mikey almost being shot by my brother.
Yeah.
You remember this?
Yeah.
So we're all sitting at home. I don't even think we went to school that day. I think we skipped or something like that, or maybe it was summertime. But we're in my apartment. My mom's gone. She's gone to work. And as soon as she takes off, we start breaking out all these guns we had. And
how many guns are we talking about? Just breaking them out?
We must have had at least 3 because each of us was holding a gun, And I remember Frank had this really cool, like nickel-plated. It was a 310 snake charmer, and
snake charmer. Yeah.
For whatever reason, like he didn't check to see if it was loaded, and we're just checking out the guns. We're all kind of sitting in a little triangle in the in the downstairs of this
we're
apartment.
kind of like this.
Yeah.
Where we're like Frank's there,
Yeah.
you and I,
just like all of us are right here.
over here.
And man, it was like the Matrix. Honestly, that scene where Neo like goes backwards and the recoil of the bullets is going all past him. I saw it and I knew to myself, I was like, man, this dude just had the grace of God save him. Because Frank freaking pulls the trigger and you just see like slow motion this smoke. And I see Mikey go like this. Like all in slow motion. And right behind him, our freaking fireplace blows up. And just Brit goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're like, Frank, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Do you, like when I go back to where I was sitting at, right behind me is that freaking hole in the chimney.
Yeah.
And the concrete. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, you should be dead. Yeah. You should be dead. Well, all of us should be dead in certain reasons, but in certain instances in our time. But yeah, he should be dead from that. And we told my mom that we moved the weight bench over there. We're like, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna move the weight bench inside and put it right close to the fireplace. We're gonna say we were lifting weights on the bench, and we dropped it. And it freaking just shattered. It shattered.
Did she believe it?
She didn't believe it, but what else could she do, you know?
Did you believe anything y'all were saying at that time?
No. Moms know, man. Something's wrong.
You know what? Since we're talking about moms right now and that situation, at one point, was it that your mom was like, I don't like this kid with me?
Oh, I don't think my mom ever did that with any kid.
Remember that because anytime I was around y'all, your mom was like, no.
I think my mom had a hard time understanding, you know, like when like Kevin was talking about, she relocated us. My mom had a hard time understanding, you know, she moved us away from some trouble we were getting into. We lived in a neighborhood called Inwood, and we got in some trouble there. I started getting into some criminal trouble. And she moved us out to climb. And like Kevin said, birds of a feather, or you get in where you fit in, you start finding people that are like you. And
in the beginning, we all went over there to kind of change, you know?
I didn't.
I did. I was like, fresh start. I did really well, you know? I did really, really well. But I didn't know anybody. Then I met Frank and started hanging out with y'all, and it was all downhill again.
I was like, let me find the kids that are trying to change and just make sure they don't.
I was the same situation as Kevin. I was not allowed to go to KF, and they were going to make me go to Annex.
Yeah.
And I had just got out of, you know, I was in trouble, and so my mom was like, "We're getting out of this side of town," and she's like, "We moved to Klein."
Yeah. So that same situation with me, and my parents had a house there, and you want to talk about parents being great. My parents literally went and rented an apartment, and right across the street from you guys in Lions Court, like I lived in the one closer to Stubner, and my parents rented that apartment, and they went and stayed there with me. And the house sat on the market empty. My sister lived there for a little while. Then we rented it out until we could rent another house. That's how important it was for my parents to give me a fresh start. You know, that we actually moved, rented the house, and then my dad rented out the house. When they got rid of me and out of high school, they moved back home to their original house. So our parents did a lot, you know, a whole bunch.
You know, I couldn't ever get my mom to see, like, because she wanted to relocate again when we got in trouble in Klein. Yeah. And I was like, Mom, at some point you just have to realize, like, it's not our friends, and it's probably just us, you know? But she, you know, your mom can't see that, right?
No.
Mikey's mom used to call me, right? And she thought it was, like, two people all the time. She'd call me about... So do you mind if I do her voice?
Yeah.
I get a phone call, and it
might not be able to.
And this is before, like, this is before caller ID, right? So you don't even know who's calling you. You know? And you pick up the phone. Nico. Oh, hey, Miss Jimenez. She's like, this is Mikey's mom. Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to talk to you about Mikey. He's doing very bad. He's hanging out with bad people. He's always hanging out with Roy and Paul. Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Oh man, I used to have these conversations, and Mikey come over to our apartment, and I'd say, dude, your mom just called over here, bro. But yeah, man, your parents just, they can't see it, man.
Yeah.
They don't know.
So I got a funny one too. So this is when we were in middle school, my friend Kyle was smoking cigarettes and my mom caught him and she was like, I don't want you to hang out with that boy. He's a bad influence, you know? And I was like, well, Mom, I was pretty manipulative as a child, you know? I was like, so Mom, would you not love me if I smoked? And she was like, I love you no matter what. The next day, I was out in the backyard pumping, and I literally smoked my whole entire life. I'll have 3 years without a cigarette coming in December. But it was like, I tried to explain to my mom that I might have been the bad guy, you know? Like, people should probably not be hanging out with me and not vice versa.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how it took me a while to convince my mom. It's like, Mom, it's not the people, it's me. I am the bad influence. Like, I'm the one that's making the majority of the bad decisions and bringing people with me.
We were all along for the ride, though. We were, the whole group of the bad influences.
Yeah.
Trouble loves company. Yeah. Trouble loves company. But yeah, I mean, I think being from those backgrounds and being at a place like Klein at that time, I don't know how Klein is now, but at that time, it was still a pretty preppy school, and I thought a lot of the people there who maybe even consider themselves not rich, to me, seemed very affluent. And I thought pretty much everybody there was rich unless you lived in an apartment or in go ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe Charterwood, you know? Yeah. Even then, they were doing better than we were. So
it was a huge change for me because I went from wearing, Chinkos, baggy clothes to going there. I'm and because I climbed I didn't make it to climb forest, but at Wonderlick, it was, we were thuggish over there, but you also had your preps and that, that whole group.
Well, yeah, probably at Greenwood.
Yeah, no, that's where it was.
Yeah,
all Greenwood, Champions Forest. Yeah. And so, but I did experience it with some people, and I was like when I did go there, and I had friends with the guys that I played football with, I was like, dude, these guys have huge houses. Like, wow. Like, when I went to Klein, I was like blown away. I was like, wow. Like, kids like turning not even 16, like have a permit at 15 with brand new Tahoes.
Yeah, whatever.
Right. Like all brand new cars. I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, and then going to some of these people's houses. I don't know if you remember Manjeet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Well, some of that pisses me off. Those kids had nicer cars at 15 and 16 than I've ever owned, you know?
Absolutely. I was like, man, some of these houses and stuff, I was like, wow. And some, I feel like us being around some of those people who were just like, their family was high society, they important. I don't look at you having a job and because you're a lawyer you're important, because I feel like everybody is important no matter what you do, where you work at. It's all about who you are. But at those times I was like, oh man, this person's a big deal. They're important. They have a fancy job or and this huge house and stuff. I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, and I think a lot of those people, they kind of wanted us around as like maybe like a street credit. If we were there, people knew they were like
they're friends with somebody who's like from the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
I always thought it was funny that coming from the other side of the tracks, when we went to the nice area in Klein, there's actually more drug use and like people had all this money to party and stuff. Like where I grew up in the ghetto, kind of Aldine area, it wasn't a ghetto. We lived in the nicer area of the ghetto school district. So I mean, we weren't poor or anything, but when I went to Klein, people had like $100 a week allowance. It was crazy,
Oh yeah.
Man, one thing that I've come to realize just as an adult, at that time when I was younger, I had a chip on my shoulder, and I thought one of the reasons I like to hang out with people like us, not that we wouldn't hang out with them, and not that we wouldn't have fun, not that we wouldn't be friends with them, but there was always something different, right? Because they grew up like they did, and we grew up like we did. But what I've learned just as an adult is, man, everybody's got issues. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody's got problems, man. Like, yeah, we might have had it bad because we were maybe poor, or maybe like our dad didn't, we didn't have our dad in the picture or something like that. And you fall victim to some of the statistics that fatherless kids fall victim to. But man, I've seen so many instances of people that have depression, mental health issues, that grew up affluent, and you just don't know, like, are their mom and dad fighting? Is daddy touching them? Just everybody's got problems.
Yeah.
No,
you're absolutely right. Everybody has their own thing that they have to work with. And it took me a while to realize a lot of stuff, man. Growing up and actually turning into a responsible adult, looking back on a lot of stuff, it's like you look at people in a different way. And like you said, like I wouldn't change my past because it made me who I am now. But there is, some people, and when you said the reason why it took you a second to get on the social media, because you were like, ooh, some of these people, we did some crazy stuff.
There's still people I don't want to find me.
Yeah, we did some crazy stuff. But there is, if I could send out a message, right, and say, you know what, like, I'm sorry. Like, that person back then, like, I was just young and dumb, and that's not who I am now. You know what I mean? And don't that picture of me or that thought, of who you knew back then is totally not the person that I am now. If I could go to apologize people, like, face to face, and tell them to forgive me for, whatever I did. Because I was really messed up. I did some stupid stuff,
I agree.
People bad.
I want to circle this back around because we didn't even actually touch on the subject of guns, but I agree with you. There are some instances where I feel like I don't even want to bring it up with the person because what I did was so horrible that I don't really even feel like I deserve to be forgiven.
Mm-hmm. So,
even though I'm a total different person now, like, I don't even want to bring that trauma back up for these people,
Yeah.
In any case, man, so now that you've, matured, now that you know what guns do in the hands of people like us when we're younger, and maybe even worse, how do you feel about guns and gun ownership today? And the government wanting to maybe restrict some types of guns or some types of ammunition.
Yeah, I mean,
do you feel comfortable telling me, do you own a gun?
I don't.
Okay.
I wish that I did.
Okay.
But I don't. And there was a time to where I was like, I can't have a gun because there's no telling what I'm going to do with it. But now that I'm older and mature and somewhat mature, I don't. I wish I did have a gun. If I could have one, I would.
What makes you feel that way?
To want to have a gun?
Yeah. Do you think it's just the machismo you grew up in, or do you think it's something about society now that makes you?
Nah, because man, not to I'm older now, you know what I mean? But I don't, like, a gun doesn't make me tough, you know what I mean? Like, I can still hold my own, you know what I mean? Like, I'm older, but like I can still get down. I don't need a gun. But for those
really, says nope.
But really, it's more important for, like, I want my wife to have one. I want her to be able to protect herself. And if I'm not home and I'm out, and something happens, that she can protect the family and the kids at home. And I just think that it's just like having the right to do what you choose to do, be responsible. It's like any other thing. I feel like people who want to have guns, let them have guns. If you don't want a gun, then don't buy one, right? Yep. I think in this world, it doesn't matter what it is. If you say you're not allowed to have a gun and they pass a law where you can't carry a gun, you can't have one, people are still going to get them. Yep. It's not going to stop people.
Especially the bad guys.
Kevin, do you own a gun?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on owning a gun, but I do own a fully automatic BB gun, and I'll love to talk about that. And the reason I own this is because I did some stupid stuff when I was young, and I don't want to hurt a child. And my whole life, and my mom talks about this, and I'm making a cup of coffee in the bathroom. You can hear that. But my mom talks about this, about how worried she was about us dying and stuff. And one of my biggest fears is someone coming into my house and hurting somebody, that's a child that can't make a responsible decision. Yeah. So I'm iffy on the gun laws because a lot of people will say, well, I want to protect myself. To me, no one deserves to die. Like, if you come into my house and you try to harm me, that's one thing. But if you come into my house to steal some stuff, either get out or take what you're going to get. None of this stuff is important. And we're at my business right now. We're the same way. You come in here and you want to, maybe I shouldn't have put that out, but you want to rob us. I'm not going to tell you the address, but if you want to rob us,
let me send out the address. Cut me in for a 25%.
He's cool with it.
No, but if you want to come rob us, man, I'll help you. I'll help you to the car. Like, none of this stuff means anything to me. My family's safety does. I work with my mom, my dad, and my wife, and I consider all my employees family. And we really will. If you want to come steal something, if you want like an X chair or something like that, or a desk, we'll help you load it up. It's nothing that important, and I don't want to have a gun here because I don't want someone to get shot. If someone comes in with a gun, because my belief is if I have a gun, the only reason I would pull it is to shoot you. Yeah. That's my mentality on it, and I don't want to shoot anybody, so I do not carry a gun, and that's important to me. But I do believe everyone should have the right to make that decision. I also believe it's in the Constitution, and so unless you can change that, which you can't, everyone should have the right. And restricting people's guns for what they're used for, I disagree with 100%. That's all I'm going to say on it.
So, for years, I just thought to myself, I don't need a gun. I'm crazy as hell. Yeah. I wish somebody would break into my house. Let me be ready with this steak knife while they break into my house because they're getting stabbed in the eye 5 times before they make it through the door. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Part of me just... the way we grew up, I've always been fascinated just with killing people, and so so I daydream about that. Even still, as a Christian, I still daydream about killing people,
So Dexter fan, that's me. I want to kill the bad guys.
Dexter's coming back.
Yes.
In any case, man, I honestly, because of the particular charges that are on my criminal record,
dude, I think it's pretty massive.
I have not been able to purchase a gun. However, during this last year, when there was all this social unrest and you were seeing people rioting in the streets, I thought, man, if I'm taking my family somewhere, I want to have a gun. Because I don't care what you do to me, but I got 2 little kids and a wife that I need to protect. And I know most of the people in some of those social unrest situations act big because they got that mob mentality, but I know you can suppress mob mentality by overcoming it with rapid fire, So, so I actually did end up getting a gun, and so I have one now.
Or we could use swords. Yeah. Challenge you to a duel.
I used to always be not necessarily killing someone, but I used to always just to shoot somebody, just to kind of see how I would feel,
So I have a friend, and I'm not going to tell his name, but this is really funny, is that we had a buddy growing up, and we had a gun, and he wanted to do the same thing, so
I already know.
We went out there and it was all crazy, and so his idea to see what it felt like to pull the triggers, he was gonna go shoot a cow, and I'm not gonna say his name because I think he might
I know exactly.
Some blue law, you might be able to get hung from that or something. You can't mess with people's cattle. He went and unloaded the 6-shooter. I don't even know if he hit him because the cow just ran off.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I could probably guess who that was.
Oh man, you probably wouldn't if you don't know.
Now nobody needs to incriminate themselves here, but I know, I was super about it dangerous with a gun when I was younger. And so I don't want the guns getting into the hands of kids, especially teenagers who have identity issues, who are about that street life. And another hot topic, right, is defunding the police. I don't think people even know what that means. It doesn't mean totally getting rid of the police. It just means taking resources, allocating them to some grassroots movements so that you don't need that many police when they're
more
older.
Civil and people coming out and talking to you instead of
It doesn't mean get rid of the police altogether. And here's why you don't want to do that. I mean, I saw people in interviews during that whole get rid of the police who actually said, "Oh, we'd be a better society without police," and I'm thinking to myself, me as a Christian right now, I'm thinking I should shove this gun through your teeth, down your throat, and then ask you about that same question,
So
because there's people like me, like I was back then, and a lot of the people that weren't tight with us didn't even know we were living that. They might have thought we were thuggish, but they didn't know like we had that like murder you type stuff going on.
Do you think it would have changed if they would have used a different word besides defund the police? Like that saying alone, I think just the verbiage is what made it so people didn't understand what that meant. Going back to it's not getting rid of the police, but the way they said it caused a lot of confusion.
Yes.
And it fired it up. They should have never used the word defund, in my opinion. And I think that happens a lot with these buzzwords, like, the insurrection, like all these buzzwords that are just on the news.
And it doesn't matter what side of the freaking political system or which news program you're watching. Everybody has an agenda, and they're pushing hot button topics. They're pushing language, and they're doing it because they want you to view on TV because they can sell ad space.
Yes, everything's about ad space.
Yes, everything's about money. And I guarantee a lot of the people that say, defund the police, or, you need COVID shots, or whatever it is, like whatever hot topic it is right now, not all those people agree with what they're saying. They're pushing it as an agenda because their media platform wants to get money. And they know if I say certain things and do certain things and push certain things, more people will put eyes on us, which means I can sell more ad space.
Yeah.
So is that a bad thing?
I just feel like there's, unfortunately, some people in the world who are wolves. There's some who are maybe shepherds, and then there's a whole lot of sheep, dude.
Yeah, and so to that, I would say that it is a bad thing because you can mislead people, man, and it's but I think that's all what news is, man. It's like you watch one channel, and it's geared towards these people. You watch this other channel, it's geared towards these people. And if you don't watch both and then decipher what you feel is important or what is right or common sense for some stuff, then that's just a whole nother thing. I think.
I'll jump in on it. So I watched more news since COVID started than I've watched in my whole entire life.
I stopped watching the news.
I started watching the news because I was confused. My business relied on it. I own an office furniture company, and the world shut down. Like, I don't know how you sell office furniture if you can't go to work. So I wanted to know everything that was going on, and it feared me. Like, it had to fear me. Like when COVID first started, I was like, what the hell is going to happen? I didn't know what was going to happen with the world. My life, my family's life, it was all very confusing. So I stayed glued to that TV. I stayed glued to it. There was nothing else to do for me. And I'd watch it over and over, flipping back between there. I've never been political. I've self-admitted I've never voted. I never really cared about that stuff until this happened. And now it's like almost polarizing to the whole nation, man. And it just doesn't make sense to me. And I know Nico talks about the agenda, but then there's just got to be so many agendas out there to, where do you find truthful information? I'm going to ask both of y'all, where do y'all get your information? And is there any truthful information out there, or is everything biased?
So if I'm watching news, I watch all of them. MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, because I know they all have different takes, right? And I try to explain to my children, you're going to find politically, there's things that deal with like environmental issues. You may find yourself on one side. But when it comes to like maybe market or economics, you might find yourself on the other side. And so what I tell them is like, it's better for you to take, everything and filter it against what you believe is right. versus going one side. And probably the truth is somewhere in the middle of what you're being told when you're listening to all the different places that you receive information. But I'm also like a big Google guy. So, you know, guys, I've sent y'all some like text messages like, look at this. Yeah. You know, like, you know, like I can easily know what to look for. You know, like I think Mark Twain has this, or for sure it's Mark Twain. He has a quote that says there's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics.
Yeah.
Dude, I can take a statistic and make you think whatever I want you to think. You know, and I can easily manipulate you with statistics. You know?
Yeah. I got a question for you, Nico. So we have a very good friend. So we have a big group text feed, and you're still on camera. I'm just talking. So we have a big group text feed of all of our friends, and there's one particular person in there that says he doesn't watch the news because it has an agenda, but he's always posting new stuff from Instagram. So is Instagram a news channel as well? Aren't they passing news around?
I mean, it is a source of
information.
Which
yeah, I bet the younger generation doesn't even watch broadcast news. Yeah. They probably only look at their phone.
But he's saying that he posts all these things, which I think is funny. He's like, I don't watch the news, but he posts something that he sees on Instagram, which is news. Yeah. You know, and maybe true, maybe not. A couple of them you pulled up and it said fact check. So where all can you get this news? Is social media a big lie? Is Instagram a lie? Or is it all based on opinion? Because it kind of seems like the whole world's divided in half right now. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but
I don't know if it's divided. I feel like there's a lot of people that don't want to publicly give an opinion or take a side on certain things because, you know,
judgment.
People will get like, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, you don't like this or you're this kind of person. They label you, and some people, you know, care about that. Some people have to care about that because they're a business owner or, you know, in certain groups and
money,
you know,
right? You gotta care.
I've had to make decisions for my business that I didn't necessarily agree with. You know?
Absolutely right. I agree with that. It's all about the money.
Bill, y'all.
Yeah.
But we talk a lot about they and them having the dollar bills. Like, I'm trying to become they, you know?
You're not in the Illuminati, bro.
Yeah, but I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
They're not gonna invite you. I'm not gonna invite you in, man.
So we can start wrapping it up.
Yeah, so right now we're exactly at 59 minutes and 30 seconds. Nico, you want to take us out?
Yeah, so let's, once again, this is the JAK Show, and this is the Going All In podcast. We're going to come to you each week, and each week's going to get better.
Yeah, man, we're excited to give you guys a little bit of what we are doing, what we have going on, and bringing in some really cool people, man, just to talk about different things, different topics, and life itself. And we're excited for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I had a great time, man. It's always a pleasure. You know, we used to do this at a shitty Denny's and eat breakfast. So now we're doing this really cool, man, touching on some topics. Nico, take us out one more time, and let's wrap it up.
What do I do with my hands?
All right, man. We'll see you. All these videos will be available online, so check them out.
At DadBod247.
Yeah.
We're going to get Nico Instagram famous soon. Peace out.